Ladies and gentlemen, the Minister of Trade, Industry, and Energy of Korea, Dr. An Do-kun, and the Deputy Secretary of Commerce of the United States, Mr. Don Graves, are now entering the venue. Please welcome them with a big round of applause. Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, a very pleasant morning to you all, and welcome to the 2024 Korea-U.S. Advanced Industry and Technology Cooperation Forum. My name is Kelly Park, your MC for this meaningful occasion, and indeed it is my great honor and great pleasure to be guiding you throughout today's proceedings. It is an honor to meet you all. Thank you very much. Well, first and foremost, on behalf of the host and the organizing committee, I would like to extend a very warm and a special welcome to all of our distinguished guests and participants from home and abroad for sparing your very valuable time to be here with us today and also showing great interest in today's program. Now, marking the third edition of this year's forum centered around the theme towards a stronger, strategic, and resilient partnership for innovation, today we'll delve deeper into collaborative approaches using advanced technologies to address to the pressing global issues such as open innovation, digital transformation, and supply chain vulnerabilities. We also hope to provide networking opportunities for our Korean and U.S. participants to foster greater collaboration and pave the way for future innovation. So please stay with us till the end and hope you take home lots of thoughtful and interesting exchanges back home. Now, before we commence, I would like to take this opportunity to acknowledge our esteemed guests who have come to honor and celebrate today's event. As I call upon each name, so please rise from your seat to greet our audience, and participants, please welcome them with a big round of applause. First, please welcome An Do-kun, Minister of the Ministry of Trade, Industry, and Energy. Welcome. Thank you. And next we have Min Young-ju, President of the Korea Institute for Advancement of Technology. Welcome. Thank you. And next we have Don Graves, the Deputy Secretary of Commerce of the U.S. Department of Commerce. Thank you very much for your presence. And next, Lee Seok-woo, Vice President of LG Electronics Nova. Thank you for coming. And next, please welcome Mark Lundstrom, Chief Semiconductor Officer and Special Advisor to the President of Purdue University. Welcome. And next, please welcome Hedy Alavi, Associate Dean for International Programs of the Johns Hopkins University. Thank you. And next, please welcome Elisa Wilcox, Chief of Staff and Senior Vice President for Partnerships at Purdue University. Thank you. And next we have Chun Yoon-jung, President of the Korea Planning and Evaluation Institute of Industrial Technology. Welcome. And next, please welcome Lee Young-guk, President of the Korea Research Institute of Chemical Technology. Thank you very much. And last but not least, please welcome Ryu Seok-hyun, President of Korea Institute of Machinery and Materials. Welcome. Yes, thank you once again to all of our participants for your presence here today, and we ask for your understanding for not being able to call upon all attendees due to time constraint.
In the vast expanse of the universe, perhaps the only planet teeming with life, open innovation, digital transformation, supply chain crisis. How will humanity tackle these challenges? Global cooperation in advanced industries is no longer a choice, but a necessity. Acceleration of Korea-US Industrial Technology Cooperation. Republic of Korea-US Summit 2022. Establishing the first practical platform for industrial technology cooperation. Korea-US Industrial Technology Cooperation Forum 2022. In U.S. Republic of Korea Summit 2023. A mutual investment in advanced technology sectors was promised. Supply chain technology cooperation in the semiconductor sector. U.S.-Korea supply chain and commercial dialogue. Korea-U.S. Advanced Industry and Clean Energy Partnership. 23 MOUs signed. Discussion on advanced industry and technology cooperation and personal exchange. 2023 Korea-U.S. Advanced Industry Technology Cooperation Forum. An agreement to hold the second Korea-U.S. Supply Chain and Industry Dialogue in 2024. Establishment of Global Industrial Technology Cooperation Centers for Global Open Innovation. Bilateral cooperation to foster the foundation of a global industrial powerhouse centered on advanced industries. Korea-U.S. Advanced Industry and Technology Cooperation Forum 2024.
Ladies and gentlemen, please give a big hand. Yes, that was indeed a very inspiring video showcasing the remarkable progress and the strong foundation of the advanced industry and technology cooperation between Korea and the U.S. Thank you once again. And now, let us officially commence today's forum with opening remarks by Dr. Min Byung-ju, the president of Korea Institute for Advancement of Technology. Please welcome her with a big round of applause.
Good morning, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me great pleasure to welcome you all to the third Korea-US Advanced Industry and Technology Cooperation Forum. Since the first forum was held in the US in 2022, I'm delighted that we are now hosting the third forum here in Washington, D.C. again. First, I would like to extend my sincere thanks to Minister An Deok-keun from the Ministry of Trade, Industry and Energy, and Deputy Secretary Don Graves from the U.S. Department of Commerce for their presence and their welcome remarks that will follow. I would like to express my gratitude to Vice President Lee Seok-woo from LG Electronics and Chief Semiconductor Officer Mark Ransom from Purdue University, who will deliver the keynote speeches. I also would like to thank Senior Advisor Jane Morrow from NIST for her presentation in the policy session, and the Chief of Staff Elisa Wilcox from Purdue University, and the Associate Dean Hedy Alavi from Johns Hopkins University, who will take part in the Global Industry Technology Cooperation Center, GITCC designation ceremony. In addition, I extend special thanks to all the experts and advanced industry and innovation from Korea and the US for sharing their valuable insights. The Korea-US alliance has developed into a strong partnership that creates mutually beneficial outcomes in the economic and industrial sectors based on the trust between our two countries. Amid the heightened uncertainties in the global economy, such as deepening global supply chain issues and accelerating technological competition, our government is seeking solutions through its alliance with the US. KIAT is striving to facilitate open innovation to strengthen our country's industrial competitiveness in the global market and to respond more proactively to the changing industrial environment. In particular, KIAT will invigorate international cooperation with the peak strategy, productivity, integrated support, cooperation, and keep stability. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, if Korea and the US share values and interests and maintain continuous cooperation, we can generate mutual synergies, drive technological innovation, and address the challenges faced by humanity. Our forum, now in its third year, under the theme, Toward a Stronger, Strategic, and Resilient Partnership for Innovation, will provide an opportunity to build a more flexible partnership and prepare for the future. Through this forum, I hope that Korea and the US will understand each other's strengths and build collaborative strategies, realizing infinite possibilities through the power of two. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Min, for the kind remarks. The robust and resilient industrial technology is not just timely, but very essential. Thank you once again for your dedication and vision, and also your ongoing leadership in shaping the future landscape of technology and innovation. Thank you once again. And next, it is with great pleasure to invite Minister An Deok-kun of the Ministry of Trade, Industry, and Energy of the Republic of Korea for the welcoming remarks. Please welcome him with a big round of applause.
Good morning, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is my immense privilege to welcome you all to the third Korea-US Advanced Industry and Technology Cooperation Forum. I would like to extend my deepest appreciation to Mr. Don Graves, Deputy Secretary of Commerce, for joining us today, as well as to the distinguished business and academic leaders from both Korea and the United States. Deputy Secretary Graves also attended the second forum held last year in Seoul, and I'm sincerely grateful for his commitment to further strengthening technological cooperation between our two countries. Thanks to the unwavering support of both our government, numerous Korean companies are proactively forging mutually beneficial partnership with their US counterpart. I would like to take this opportunity to express my deepest gratitude to all those involved for their endeavor in making this forum possible. The global community is facing a so-called polycrisis marked by geopolitical instability and supply chain disruption. As cutting-edge technology becomes increasingly more complex, the risk associated with investing in new technology development have also increased. We are also facing unprecedented challenges such as climate change that demand collaborative global responses. I firmly believe that the only way to overcome these crises and challenges is through steadfast alliance among like-minded nations. Through these alliances, we must encourage business and academics of each country to come together and share their experience and collective wisdom. In this vein, today's forum holds a special significance as it is a valuable platform for robust cooperation between Korea and the United States. Many U.S. researchers working on cutting-edge technology have expressed interest in utilizing Korea's advanced manufacturing capabilities to commercialize their underlying technologies. In addition, many Korean companies are eager to find new growth engines in the face of increasing global technology competition by collaborating with outstanding U.S. research institutions. Korea and the United States are both global leaders in advanced technology and complement each other in their respective fields, making us ideal partners. By working together, we can generate strong synergy that will benefit both countries. Throughout the history of this forum, the government of Korea has implemented various policies to foster global cooperation and solidarity in the area of cutting-edge technology. The Korean government has initiated global technology collaboration by opening up domestic R&D to overseas partners, while substantially increasing investment into international joint R&D. We have also forged partnership with prestigious academic institutions such as Purdue, Johns Hopkins, Yale, and Georgia Tech to establish Korea-US Industrial Technology Cooperation Centers, which will serve as platform for long-term technological collaboration. Through these centers, we will provide comprehensive support across the entire spectrum of technological cooperation between our two nations. This year, we also launched the Korea-US Science and Engineering Exchange Initiative for Youth, which will foster interaction between 2023 students from both countries. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, your presence here today demonstrates clear recognition that technological cooperation between our two countries is more important than ever before. Indeed, technology lies at the very heart of innovation and cooperation. I hope that today's event serves as a catalyst for continued cooperation among the business, academic, and research communities of Korea and the United States. I encourage you to continue finding new innovative methods for our two countries to cooperate in the field of advanced technology and achieve tangible results. The government of Korea will likewise spare no resources to solidify the technology alliance between Korea and the United States and promote world-leading industrial innovation through our joint effort. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you, Minister, for the warm welcome and your ongoing commitment to advancing technology and industry between Korea and the U.S., which truly promises to be a beacon of great collaboration and innovation. Thank you very much for making this event possible. And next, please allow me to invite Mr. Don Graves, the Deputy Secretary of Commerce of the United States, for the congratulatory remarks. Please welcome him with a big round of applause.
Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you, Minister An. Thank you, President Min, for your partnership for your friendship, for your leadership, and of course, thank you for welcoming me back once again to the third of these wonderful forums. You've done another phenomenal job hosting this forum, bringing together a broad representation of Korean and US businesses, government officials, academics, and others to discuss the incredibly diverse and ever-strengthening commercial, technological, and economic ties and collaboration between our countries. I'm glad to hear that three pilot projects with our National Institutes of Standards and Technology, including topics like semiconductors, semiconductor crystals, robotics, and advanced manufacturing, have been a direct result of the US-Korea R&D cooperation program at last year's forum, and I hope to see more of that coming out of this year. Last September, I had the privilege of leading a cybersecurity and business development mission to Korea, followed by which I went to Japan, alongside dozens of US private sector leaders. During our time in Seoul, I delivered opening remarks at last year's forum. It was one of the high points of my visit to the region, particularly following President Yoon's incredibly productive visit to Washington just a few months beforehand, followed by his participation in the Camp David Summit with President Biden and Japanese Prime Minister Kishida. And since my visit, I've been both amazed and impressed with the dozens of meetings Secretary Raimondo and I and others on the Commerce team have had with MOTIE, with KIAT, and the hundreds of innovative Korean companies that have sought and are seeking to invest tens of billions of dollars in the US economy, creating jobs across our country and in Korea, and increasing our innovation and manufacturing ecosystems. But that's not all. Just this month, it was reported that South Korea's exports to the United States exceeded those to China so far this year, indicating that the United States could be the top export and foreign direct investment destination for South Korea for the first time in 22 years. And I have to believe that when the members of BTS finish their military service, there may be a significant increase next year. Yesterday, Secretary Raimondo held the first ever US, Japan, Korea Commerce and Industry Ministers meeting with Minister An and Japanese Minister Saito, with the three countries committing to increase their economic and commercial cooperation between countries, as well as in the Indo-Pacific region and beyond. What's more, the Secretary will hold the US-Korea Supply Chain and Commercial Dialogue, SCCD Ministerial, with Minister An immediately following her participation with the Minister at the SCCD Semiconductor Forum later today, where they're going to connect with interested public and private research institutions, including relevant industry associations, universities, government agencies, and companies to deepen our cooperation and strengthen global semiconductor supply chains. But that's not all. The SCCD ministerial meetings follows a year of very productive engagements under several of our working groups. I just want to give you a few examples because I think it's important for us to recognize all that we've been able to do together. In October, Commerce and MOTIE hosted an additive manufacturing industry showcase where over 100 US and Korean companies learned about opportunities to compete and invest in one another's markets. Commerce's Bureau of Industry and Security and MOTIE have been holding steady meetings on dual-use export controls, the most recent of which was earlier this month to protect our most sensitive technologies and maintain our global technological leadership across a range of sectors. Just last month, the Healthcare Working Group hosted a telehealth virtual showcase with 72 attendees, and this was quickly followed by a US-Korea Biopharma Roundtable at the Biotechnology Innovation Organization convention in San Diego earlier this month, which focused on strengthening cooperation on biopharmaceutical innovation and supply chains between the two countries. Beyond those, the White House, as was mentioned, launched the U.S. Republic of Korea Next Generation Critical and Emerging Technologies Dialogue to upgrade bilateral technology cooperation. We are particularly excited at the prospect of the CET to bolster our cooperation on the most crucial advanced technology issues. Critical and emerging technologies such as quantum information science, biotech, AI, and a range of others are driving the future of our global economy. These technologies will increasingly underpin how our societies function, how they interact, and how they grow. And we're taking steps to safeguard them for the future. We're making strategic investments and deepening commercial ties with our allies in critical and emerging technologies that will have an outsized impact on our economies. And we're also taking steps to protect our national security by fostering trusted tech ecosystems, combating economic coercion, and let me emphasize that, combating economic coercion, and preventing malign actors from using sensitive goods and technologies in ways that undermine our national security, our collective security. Finally, we're scaling up our engagement, including with our private sector, to offer our partners in the Global South better infrastructure alternatives to meet their most pressing economic needs. Our most significant collaborations have come as a result of the Indo-Pacific Economic Framework for Prosperity, or IPAF. IPAF is one of my administration's top priorities for economic engagement in the region. And most recently in June, under the Indo-Pacific Economic Framework for Prosperity, the IPAF ministerial meeting and the inaugural IPAF Clean Economy Investor Forum took place in Singapore. I want to thank you, Minister On, for your leadership role and support of IPAF, becoming, I think, the strongest example of how our shared regional priorities underscore the strength of our bilateral relationship. I just provided you a laundry list of all of the examples, many of the examples, not all of them, of the progress that we're making both to deepen and our cooperation with Korea, but also, more importantly, to deliver results for our private sectors, our communities, and our people. The fact that you are here today signals something more than just good faith between our countries. It shows your clear desire to contribute to a stronger U.S.-Korea alliance, whether through trade, research and development, investment, or one of the other dozens of ways our country's private sectors and citizens are growing even closer. There's still much more that needs to be done. Investments need to be made, innovation to be commercialized, cutting-edge products and services to be utilized in our daily lives, beyond that which originate in the U.S. and Korea. And both Secretary Raimondo and I look forward to redoubling our efforts with Minister On, with MOTIE, and with the U.S. and Korean private sectors to make the U.S.-Korea partnership the envy of the world. And that relationship delivers for our economies and for our people for decades to come. Commerce's Foreign Commercial Service team in Seoul will be a crucial resource for this and can assist with any questions that any of you in the private sector may have about entering the market. Now, before I hand it back to President Min, I'd like to express my sincerest hope for continued success at next year's AITC Forum and to the designation of these top universities as Global Industrial Technology Cooperation Center hubs. I thank you so very much.
Yes, thank you, Deputy Secretary, for those encouraging words as well as your unwavering support and commitment. And we definitely look forward to achieving greater strides together in the journey towards a more prosperous and sustainable future. Thank you once again. And now, ladies and gentlemen, before we proceed on to the commemorative group photo, please allow us a few moments to prepare the stage. We thank you very much for your patience. And in the meantime, as you are all aware, for this year's forum, we'll be focusing on envisioning the future of advanced industries driven by AI innovations. We will discuss collaborative ventures, such as launching the U.S. Global Industrial Technology Cooperation Center and the joint R&D projects with innovation agencies from Korea and the U.S. The Ministry of Trade, Industry, and Energy, along with the Korea Institute for Advancement of Technology, aims to strengthen our bilateral partnership, fostering active technological collaboration in advanced sectors, particularly with Korean SMEs and mid-sized enterprises and the U.S. innovation agencies. And with that, to commemorate today's meaningful occasion, we will now have a VIP group photo to commemorate today's event. The operational staff will be guiding our head table VIPs up to the stage for the group photo. Please follow our staff. And in the meantime, we kindly ask our participants for your patience as we will resume to the next proceeding shortly. Thank you. We have a lot of cameras here today to capture this wonderful moment. A little bit to the left, 네, 왼쪽으로 좀 자리해 주시기 바라겠습니다. 네, 메인 카메라 어디 계실까요? 네, 여기 the one that is raising his hand is the main camera. So, yes, with a big smile, please. On the count of 3. 1, 2, and 3. Great. And we'll say fighting on the count of 3. Now towards a stronger, strategic, and resilient partnership for innovation. 1, 2, 3. Fighting! Ladies and gentlemen, big round of applause, please. Yes, thank you very much for your cooperation and support. And we will invite you back to your seats. Thank you very much. Yes, it is very delightful to see all of you here today to honor and celebrate this meaningful occasion. And we would like to thank you once again for your great support and commitment towards a stronger, strategic, and resilient partnership for innovation between Korea and the U.S. Thank you once again. And now let us proceed on with the designation ceremony for the Korea-U.S. Global Industrial Technology Cooperation Centers. Now, the GITCC was established by the Ministry of Trade, Industry, and Energy to serve as a crucial channel for fostering technological collaboration between Korean academia and industry with leading global research institutions in the United States. The GITCC is expected to play a pivotal role in facilitating collaboration between Korean enterprises and its U.S. counterparts. Its functions include identifying and matching potential partners, planning joint research projects, and promoting personal exchanges. Now, through these initiatives, the center aims to accelerate technological advancements in cutting-edge industries and strengthen the bilateral relationship between Korea and the United States. So with that being said, let us now commence the designation ceremony for the Korea-U.S. Global Industrial Technology Cooperation Centers. First, I would like to invite the representatives of the designated institutions to join us up on stage. First, please welcome Elisa Wilcox from Purdue University, Hedy Alavi from Johns Hopkins University, Kim Jae-hong from Yale University, and finally, Im Sung-gyu from Georgia Institute of Technology. Please welcome them with a big hand. Now, to commemorate the designation of the GITCC, we'll be presenting the plaques to each institutions. The GITCC will be supporting cooperation between Korea and the U.S. in advanced industry sectors such as biotechnology, semiconductors, batteries, AI, robotics, future mobility, and displays. And Minister An will be taking the honor to present the plaques to our representatives. Please allow me to invite our great supporters, Minister An and Dr. Min, up to the stage. Please welcome them with a big hand. And now we will present the first plaque. The first plaque will be presented to Purdue University, Ms. Alisa Wilcox, Senior Vice President for Partnerships. And the plaque will be presented by Minister An. Center for Operation and Research for Industrial Advancement Korea. Congratulations. Ladies and gentlemen, please give Ms. Wilcox a big round of applause. And Dr. Min will be joining us for the commemorative photo. Yes, with the flag nice and clear so we can get a good view. Yes, big smile please. Thank you. Congratulations. Another big round of applause. Thank you very much, and we will invite you back to your place. Thank you. And next, Johns Hopkins University, Dr. Hedy Alavi, the Associate Dean for International Programs at Johns Hopkins University. Johns Hopkins Biotechnology Cooperation Center. Congratulations. Please give a big hand. Yes, thank you very much for your great support and dedication towards our great collaboration. Yes, another big round of applause, please, with a big smile. Thank you. Thank you very much. And next, Yale University, Professor Kim Jae-hong of Yale University will be receiving the plaque. Minister An will be presenting the plaque. Korea Center for Industrial Technology, Yale. Congratulations. Another big round of applause, please. Yes, we'll commemorate today's event with a photo, and we look forward to a fruitful journey towards cutting-edge innovation and mutual growth. Thank you very much. And last but not least, we have a Georgia Institute of Technology, Professor Im Song-gyu of Georgia Institute of Technology. Korea KIAT, Georgia Tech Semiconductor Electronics Center. Congratulations. Yes. Your dedication to advancing industrial technology and collaboration is deeply honored. Thank you very much. Another big round of applause, please. Yes, congratulations to all of our 4 representatives for their great accomplishments. And we will gather for a group photo with our 4 institutions with Minister An and Dr. Min. Yes, please gather in the middle, and please look at the main camera, and with your plaques nice and up high. Yes. 1, 2, 3. Great. Another big round of applause, please. Shall we have another round of applause? Yes. Yes, thank you very much. We would like to invite you back to your seats, and please give a big hand to our great supporters, Minister An and Dr. Min, for their dedication and support. Thank you once again. And now to briefly go over the next proceedings, we'll have 2 thematic keynote speeches with 2 speakers in the policy session, followed by 4 speakers in the cooperation session. Now, for the policy session, the speakers will be discussing about Korea-U.S. advanced industry and strategies and the outlook for cooperation. And during the cooperation sessions, the speakers will be sharing their excellent knowledge and insights of the Korea-U.S. R&D cooperation status and the main events so far. Once again, we have a simultaneous interpretation service provided throughout today's event. So those of you who need translations, please turn into channel 1 for English and channel 2 for Korean. And now, to get the ball rolling, we will now move on to the thematic speech session. And now, ladies and gentlemen, first we will hear from Dr. Lee Seok-woo, head of the North America Innovation Center at LG Electronics, presenting on Korean Industrial Technology Innovation and Korea-US Cooperation. Please welcome with a big round of applause.
Hello, everybody. Thanks so much for giving me a chance to speak at this honorable event. And thank you, President Min. And I wanted to thank Minister An and Deputy Secretary Grace. And here we go. There you are. Okay. It's an honor and pleasure to be here. And I want to introduce a little bit about what we do in LG. And the reason I want to talk about LG is not because I want to advertise LG. It's about what I do, especially in LG, is very relevant to topics that you are very interested in today. This open innovation, collaboration between the US economy and also Korean large corporations like LG Electronics, which is I think critical in making everybody successful. So I'm the head of, just a little brief on my background. I'm head of LG Nova, which is North American Innovation Center, based in Santa Clara, California. Okay, so interestingly, I actually worked for the US federal government for 8 years, especially as a White House Innovation Fellow. And then I worked for the Commerce Department, specifically at NIST. And I was in charge of the largest smart city program run by federal government. And then I joined LG Electronics 3-4 years ago. And the reason I'm telling you this background is because to understand why I'm doing what I do in LG, it's important to understand where I come from. So a little bit about what LG Nova does. And in its core, its mission is to create new businesses for LG. I work for LG. Everybody works for someone, right? So that's what we do. However, we do it very differently. We do it through collaboration, open innovation, it's sort of cliche, but we do it specifically working with thousands of startups globally and dozens of investors in the United States mostly, and also a number of partners in the US government and state government, and also a lot of US entities. So we are based in Santa Clara, I just mentioned, and we have a team of entrepreneurs based in the USA. Based in the US, we have a strong ties with the public and private sector, the expertise, and we also work with a lot of capital partners, and that's where going to be interesting because investment is always needed when you talk about creating new businesses. So the vision, mission, I already told you, so I'm going to skip this slide. I don't have to, let me explain a little bit why we work with startups. So, okay, we as an LG Nova, we always strive to be one step ahead of industry. What I mean by that is our mission is to create the future of LG Electronics. Okay, so to do it, we always have to be able to see 5 years and 10 years. And we need a North Star. We need to be able to see not just by ourselves, but by somebody else's prism and lenses. So that's why we work with startups. They are the future. They are the future of economy. They are the future of industry. So by working with lots of them, then we are hoping to gain insight and what's going to happen in 5 years and 10 years so that we can prepare ourselves, we can create new businesses based on that. That's why we work with the startups. Startups is just one piece of the equation. There are investors, there are customers, and there are partners, which could be nonprofits, governments, and university, and all these different partners should get together. The question is, how do you structure this collaboration mechanism? That is the most important piece of the equation, and that's what we are trying to come up with. So this is what we call outside-in approach in innovation. So most of the innovation, especially in corporation, and not just corporation. I've been in the innovation world for probably almost 3 decades. most of them, without any exception, works with inside-out innovation, meaning you have a great R&D team and smart people come up with a product and hope it's going to solve in millions. It works. In many cases, works great. Now, the world is becoming more and more complicated. It's time that one genius can solve the world problem is probably not going to come again very soon, okay? That's why we need a collaboration. I mean, 1 + 1 has to be more than 2. That's what it comes down to. So in our case, we want to create new businesses and new innovation, not just by saying LG is the smartest people, we have smart people. We have smartest people, I get it. However, we also understand there are more smarter people outside of LG Electronics, more smarter people outside of any organization. So the design of the approach is how do we bring them in and how do we mingle them and combine them with LG's own capabilities and come up with something amazing. So that's why we created this kind of cycle. Now, let's talk about, okay, which sector we're going to work on, okay? And the reason the sector is important is in some sectors, one genius can solve the problem. And there are sectors like that. But there are other sectors that you need a collaboration, you need openness. And in our case, we chose a few sectors that collaboration is always the key because the industry is so complex. And that is healthcare, extremely complex industry, especially in the United States. In some senses, almost like broken industry, to my personal perspective. That's why we are trying to make it better, okay? And clean tech, emerging technology area, which is extremely important for us and for our next generation as well. AI, as you know, is a big topic in the industry right now, and we cannot miss it. So we look at the market, we look at investors, we look at startups, and we look at our own capabilities and come up with an intersection of these different expertise and sectors. That's what we do. So we talk about healthcare, clean tech, smart life, AI, and open innovation. So I talked about all these theories. I'm going to just skip them over because they're probably not as relevant. You can read it if you want. It's a lot of information there. How do we do this? You can combine all these ingredients and just put everything into a melting pot and just hope something comes out of it. That's one way to do it, okay? Another way to do it is come with a methodical process of innovation and run it over and over again, revise it and improve it until you see a magnificent result that's come out of it, okay? So we are choosing the second approach. The approach we choose is that we come up with, obviously, business ideas. But when I say we, it's not only LG Electronics. This is important. We work with thousands of startups to come up with the best business ideas, not just from us, but from them. And say, how can LG's capability can be combined with hundreds and thousands of startups and come up with something that we can all go after together? That is the key. So once we do that, and we also test and validate them through joint POC, LG funds it, and then we also build the MVP, minimum viable products, and we launch that as a separate business. This is also important. We actually create real companies, separate legal entities, jointly with the partners. That's what we do. And hopefully, at some point, it could become very successful that can really contribute to the economy of both the United States and also both to Korea as well, or both to the whole globally, if it is really that successful. So that's the vision. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the partnerships specifically. What kind of partnerships are we talking about here? So we work with investors. You need money, especially when you work with them, when you try to create new businesses, you need money initially. Now, LG puts in money. We put in a lot of investment into this activity. However, we don't believe LG can do that ourselves. So we also work with other investors, venture capitals and asset managers and even the government entities who agrees and who shares the same vision. And we work with them. We put the money pool together and we go after the most exciting sectors and fields of innovation. That's why we have something called a capital alliance. We have a capital partners. We create an alliance of them, and so that they have opportunity to invest into what you do. Okay. Now, there is an example. Okay, so now we have investors, or we may have investors. Now we need the partners. We need the partners to work with. Partners can be many different things, but we also specifically want to work with partners who have existing markets, who can help the business to take off, and also how this new business can help. So we announced a major partnership with the state of West Virginia. As you can see, that's our CEO, Mr. Cho, and Governor Justice West Virginia, and also Senator Capito and two senators from West Virginia. So we announced that we are going to create jobs in West Virginia. And also, obviously, we're going to bring innovation ecosystem. Creating jobs, one way to do that is building a factory. Yes, that's the traditional way to create jobs. But that also puts a cap in the number of jobs because a factory cannot expand forever. What we propose and what West Virginia really liked is creating this innovation, what we call innovation wheelhouse or innovation ecosystem. Essentially, we create the ecosystem, Silicon Valley-like ecosystem in West Virginia. Yes, it's going to take a while. It's not going to come overnight. So that the engine itself can create jobs forever. And that is the mission that we have. We work with West Virginia. It's not just West Virginia, by the way. There's Appalachian region. We are working with a number of states around the region so that we can expand these activities around it. I talked about, I don't know why it's not going. Yep. Next slide. Okay, it's not that. Okay, next slide, this one. Okay, so when we do this, we need a lot of partners to come work with us. That's why we have a list of a number of collaboration programs. There's sub-programs, not just a collaboration for business, but we also want to get all the thoughts and visions together. So that's why we create a think tank called the Coalition for Innovation. It's a like-minded innovators, industry, universities, governments, they come together and tackle the most important problems in the world, or most difficult problems in the world. And the idea is this. Everybody knows the problem in healthcare. Okay, good. If you ask every one of them, one of the experts, and they all have their own solutions. But guess what? The problem is not solved yet. That probably means that everybody looks at one piece of the problem, but nobody's really looking at it in a comprehensive way to solve the problem. And that's what we're trying to accomplish. And we have a mission network, and we have investor network, and so on. So this is probably an interesting slide you can see. I told you that we work with the thousands of startups. Yes, for the last 3 years, we have been interacting with close to 4,000 startups all over the world. As you can see, it's hard to put pins when there are 4,000 dots you have to put in. So that's sort of like an overview of what it is. About half of them are in North America. About 30% of them are in Europe, and including Israel. And about 20% of them are like other worlds. So we go through a methodical process to discuss with the startups and come up with the best ideas that can solve the world's most pressing problems. And those startups that you can see on the right, those are ones that we have selected and we actually worked. As I said, I think about 70% of these are in the United States, and the other 30% are in Europe, and they are the startups that we believe, by working with LG, can solve the world's most pressing issues. Like, how can you deal with the chronic care, which is diabetes, the blood pressure problems, and also the all kinds of problems in your chronic care conditions, heart problems, and so on. Clean tech. How can you create energy much more efficiently? How can you reduce consumption of energy? How can you optimize it with the EV charging all came on board? AI, what can you do with AI? AI is a good concept, but you got to do something with it. If it doesn't help people, it doesn't add a lot of value, it's just hype. We're trying to find what is the specific application that can actually help you. So this is sort of like what we do, and we actually, it's a little bit of a commercial. We do this annual event every year. I don't know why I'm just doing the commercial here, just bear with me. September 25th, 26th in San Francisco, in a historic place of the Palace of, I think the Palace of Art. There's a historic place in San Francisco. We bring all these partners together and we discuss how can we solve this world's most pressing problems. Okay, so I think this is it. And thank you, and thanks for listening to me. If you want to leave with just one message today, I believe the potential of collaboration between the United States and Korea is enormous. But the issue is not just the word collaboration, the issue is how you do it. You cannot just expect to throw everybody together and see that, okay, things will come out of it. It doesn't work that way. Okay? You got to have a meticulous process with try and error. Nothing is going to be successful at one shot. Okay? It will fail. It will fail at some point, but you got to learn from it and go on with it. That's how new businesses are created, new jobs are created, new investments are attractive. So that's probably the most important message I want to leave it here. I really appreciate everybody listening to me. If it was too boring, forgive me, but hopefully we can strengthen this tie between the United States and Korea even further going forward. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Lee, for the informative presentation showcasing how innovation in LG Nova is shaping the landscape for international cooperation. Thank you once again. And next we have Professor Mark Lundstrom from Purdue University speaking on accelerating the pace of semiconductor innovation in the U.S. Please welcome it with a big round of applause.
So thank you all, and thank you for the opportunity to be here and speak to you about a topic near to my heart. Semiconductor technology is a technology that is of critical importance to both of our nations. Each of our nations has some very ambitious objectives in this field, and we're not going to accomplish those objectives unless we collaborate and work closely together. We are particularly honored to be part of the new Global Industrial Technology Cooperation Center program. We're also particularly pleased with the recent announcement of SK Hynix, the Korean company, to locate a factory and an R&D lab very close to our campus, so we can see firsthand this partnership between Korea and the US developing in real time, and we're excited about that. Now, this is a field that I have worked in since my first job out of college, which turns out to be 50 years ago. And what I want to do is to share some perspectives about how we can make the next 50 years of semiconductor technology as exciting and impactful as the previous 50 years has been. Okay, so this is a field that is foundational. We live in a digital world. Chips are everywhere. It's critical to our national security. It's critical to our economic prosperity. And every challenge that we want to address in the future, whether it's energy, climate, mobility, health, agriculture, will all depend on digital technology, data, and more computing. And it's an industry that is projected to grow from about $500 billion in revenue now to over $1 trillion by the end of the decade. So it's hard to imagine, what the world would be like without semiconductor technology. But here's an example. So this was done 50 years ago. Popular Mechanics magazine, asked people to think about what the world will be like 50 years from now. And this is the projection of what might be possible, a home computer. And you can see what this home computer looks like. This was 1954. This was shortly after transistors had emerged. The first transistorized computer had actually been built in 1954, but was still a small thing. The integrated circuit chips wouldn't be invented until 5 years later. And this is what our home computers would have looked like had it not been for the semiconductor technology that we carry around in our pockets now that have vastly more computing power than this home computer would have had. So it's really important and it's really foundational. So the way this technology has progressed, the basic building block of electronics are transistors. The first chip had 1 transistor on it. A year later, the chips had 2 transistors on it. A year later, they had 4 transistors on it. Things slowed down a little bit. It took 2 years to double the number of transistors per chip, but it kept doubling for a long, long time. And this is Moore's law. The plot is on a log scale, so it's a little difficult to appreciate how rapidly progress occurred over an extended period of time. Now, this dot here, NMOS2, that was my first job out of college, working on a semiconductor process in which the smallest dimension was measured in 5 micrometers. Today, we would call that a 5,000 nanometer technology. Current technology is 5 nanometer technology. That's 1,000 times smaller. The area of the transistor is 1,000,000 times less. We were almost able to put 10,000 transistors on a chip then. Now you can put 100 billion transistors on a chip. It's just hard to believe that this works. So it's been like a locomotive just going down the track. You just make transistors smaller. There was no law behind Moore's law. There's nothing that said it had to be done. But if you didn't do it, your competitors probably would. So it just drove people to innovate continually for year after year after year. But things are getting harder. It's beginning to slow down. So we're starting to worry about how do we keep this up. Now, I want to go back to my history. I was working for Hewlett-Packard at that time in a division that was building desktop computers. We were selling them to engineers because we didn't know anyone else would want a desktop computer. This was before the PC. And I was working on an integrated circuit process. One of the machines that we used that made the patterns on the wafers to produce the transistors was a mask collider. One of those machines cost $25,000. So we had a facility to build the chips for our desktop computers in the same building. Another part of Hewlett-Packard was building measurement instruments. It's now Agilent Corporation. They had their own integrated circuit process. 100 miles south, there was another division building oscilloscopes. They had their own integrated circuit process. Many companies were designing and building their own chips for their own products. But as transistors got smaller, as progress continued, things got more and more and more expensive. If you look today at the corresponding machine to do patterning on silicon wafers at the leading edge, it's ASML's extreme ultraviolet lithography tool. One of these machines now costs about $380 million. That's what's happened to semiconductor technology to continue to the progress that we've been making. There was more and more consolidation of the industry year after year. Now there are only 3 companies in the world that can manufacture leading-edge digital chips. So this has implications on innovation and the speed of innovation and how many people can be involved in innovation. So there's a sophisticated semiconductor ecosystem. Now let's see, I'm sorry to put everything up at once. My animations aren't working, but there are a set of companies on the left here called fabless companies. They design chips. They don't manufacture chips. Some of them design chips for their own products. Some of them design chips for others. And you'll recognize some names there, companies like NVIDIA. So this can be a very profitable business. I guess NVIDIA has recently become the largest market cap company in the world, making chips for AI. And there's a set of companies on the top that are suppliers of capabilities to these design companies, companies that produce the sophisticated design software used to design chips. And those are large companies themselves. And then there are companies called foundries that don't design chips. They just build chips that other companies design. The largest one is TSMC in Taiwan, but others are global foundries. Intel does some and plans to do more, UMC in Singapore. And there's a large number of companies that build the tools and provide the materials and the chemicals that the foundries use to fabricate chips. So a foundry might have dozens of companies in their supply chain. Each of those companies might have hundreds or even thousands of companies supplying the materials and the components and the various processes for them. And then there are companies that assemble and test, and they have their own number of companies and supply chains. So that's the semiconductor ecosystem. It's very concentrated. Only 10 companies produce 70% of the entire global production. It's different in other industries. In the US, small and medium-sized companies account for half of the manufacturing contribution to our GDP, and almost half of the workforce. So the semiconductor industry is different in that respect. Now, what's happening today, just as semiconductor technology, its end has been predicted many times, but it's getting really, really hard right now to continue to make transistors smaller and to continue along that Moore's Law line. At the same time, the demands for computing are exploding. So if you look at the amount of computing needed to do AI calculations over time, for a long time, for about 50 years, it doubled every 2 years. The number of transistors on the chip doubled. You could do twice as much computation. You could apply that to machine learning and various tasks. What's happening now? Whoops. Well, I lost an animation there. If you look now at the place that you cannot see, the rate of computation is increasing 10 times every year. How do we keep up with that? That's what's making NVIDIA so profitable, these exploding use of AI, and that's what the semiconductor industry is trying to think about. How do we keep up with this? Just as everything is getting difficult. Well, it's going to require innovation. So NVIDIA is the leader in producing chips. Several other companies are now chasing them. This is going to be a very lucrative market for the next decade or more. SK Hynix is a key supplier, the leading supplier of high bandwidth memory chips to NVIDIA. So that's a critical technology. How does that work? Well, you have this processor made by NVIDIA. It needs lots of data. We need to get data in, we need to get data out, and you need to do it very rapidly. If you have the chips packaged separately on a printed circuit board, it takes a lot of time and energy to move the data from the memory to the processor and then back again. So this is housed in an advanced package where 16 layers of memory chips are sitting beside the processor chip in almost intimate contact where the signals can move back and forth very quickly. This is called an advanced package, and it puts the memory and computing in close connection and allows these AI calculations to go. And advanced packaging is thought to be the next opportunity to drive performance in semiconductor electronics. So we can think of 4 waves of technology. We began in about 1960 with the first chip and 1 transistor. We put more and more transistors on a chip. Everything improved and continued for 20 or 30 years until we had so many transistors on a chip that the wires connecting the transistors were slowing everything down. Then there was a major innovation to replace the aluminum wires with copper wires. And that doesn't sound like a big deal, but it was really, really difficult to integrate copper metallization into the integrated circuit line. But once we had copper metallization, we increased performance, and that was the second wave. And then as we continued to make transistors smaller and smaller and smaller, we had to fundamentally at some point redesign them and go to three-dimensional transistor structures, known as a FinFET. That powered the third wave, but we are almost at the end of the third wave now, just as this demand for computing to support AI is exploding. So what is the solution? The solution is thought to be advanced packaging, where we can put multiple chips inside one package that is almost as sophisticated as a chip itself, and they can be in such close, intimate contact that they function almost as one very large chip. You can connect chips of different technology nodes, different types of technologies, and you can put your complete system in a package. We're going to begin to see these plots of Moore's law, number of transistors per chip. They'll continue for a long time, but we'll relabel the vertical axis transistors per package, and it will continue. So advanced packaging is thought to be the goal. Now, what's the US CHIPS Act all about? A big part of it is about incentives to build factories, but a significant part of it is for R&D. And it's not traditional university research, it's translational research, it's innovation, it's addressing this challenge of trying to move ideas from early stage proof of concept into manufacturing. And there are $13 billion worth of that funding and that is directed at that. So the challenges we have in innovation in this industry are sort of particular to how expensive it's become. The semiconductor manufacturing and the R&D itself has become incredibly expensive. There is a huge gap, for example, between even what well-equipped university labs can do and what a modern-day semiconductor manufacturing facility is like. Makes it very difficult to transfer some advance that has been demonstrated in a university lab into pilot production and eventually large-scale manufacturing. The design of these chips has become very complex. It can take hundreds of engineers to design a single chip, almost 1,000 in some cases for the most sophisticated chips. So that all makes it very difficult to move new ideas from proof of concept to pilot production. And that makes it hard to tap the creative energies that we have in places like startup companies and universities. And we need to do that to accelerate the pace of innovation. Now, it is true that there is more to semiconductor technology than the leading edge. We don't need the most advanced, sophisticated, most expensive technology for everything. There are a wide variety of applications and opportunities for creativity and applying semiconductor technologies to many different spaces that don't require that and provide more opportunities for startups and universities to be involved in. So how are people thinking about addressing this challenge? Because we know that we need to accelerate the pace of innovation in this field. There's a lot of talk about digital twins, a digital representation of a process or a semiconductor manufacturing tool. We've been doing computer simulation for a long time. What's different now is the combination of physically based simulations with data that we can gather to make these tools truly predictive, so that much of the technology development could be done more quickly and more cheaply by doing it virtually, with the assurance that when you actually manufacture what you've designed, it will function as designed. I think we need some more smart, affordable, flexible manufacturing to address the many diverse small and medium-sized markets to allow a different set of companies to participate. A lot of the CHIPS Act is about creating an R&D infrastructure in this nation that will allow us to address this so-called lab-to-fab gap. How can we move concepts that have been demonstrated in a university lab into pilot production? But we really also need a strategy. How do we engage the best and the brightest young people and innovators in this field? Because we need them to be involved in this. And I'll end with this slide. So this is a fellow who's, Frederick Terman is a famous, for anybody, does that name ring a bell with anyone? He's often called the father of Silicon Valley. He had a long time career at Stanford University. He gave a speech in 1960 at an electronics conference in Chicago. That was 1960 was 1 year after the first chip was demonstrated. Transistors were just beginning to make an impact in the market. You had the Sony 6-transistor pocket radio, but they were still a small market. The mainstream electronics industry was the vacuum tube industry. And he gave a speech in Chicago to the electronics conference, and he talked about how electronics has changed in the last 2 decades. So he was going back to 1940. In 1940, semiconductor technology was developed for use in the war effort in the US for detectors in radar systems and things. The development of semiconductor technology that occurred in the war effort set the stage for Bell Labs then to turn that into the first transistor in 1947, and then that led to the integrated circuit that we enjoy today. Terman appreciated all of this, and he says, this change has been brought about by a new electronics that originated 20 years ago. He said it's based on the transistor and solid-state electronics. He pointed out that it has an explosive character that the mainstream industry doesn't have. All of the best and brightest young people want to be doing this, even though it was only a niche market at that time. Today, if you ask young people, what's the most explosive things happening in technology, they probably would not say semiconductor technology. Now, it's still progressing, but it takes hundreds of engineers on teams to advance it. They would probably say AI, because everyone can see what's happening in AI in front of their eyes. But what powers AI is semiconductor technology, and we need to find a way to get people excited about doing that underlying technology that makes it all possible. So today, Terman's new electronics is more than 60 years old, but the challenges we have in the future are even more daunting. This insatiable appetite that AI has for more computing and more memory. So I think our challenge today, and to accelerate the innovation, is to make semiconductor technology as explosive as it was 50 or 60 years ago when I started my career, and get the best and the brightest young people engaged in this field. So thank you for the opportunity to be here and to share these thoughts with you. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Professor Lundstrom, for the inspiring presentation, providing us with valuable insights into the opportunities driving semiconductor innovation forward in the United States. Thank you once again. And now, ladies and gentlemen, let us proceed on to the policy session. Dr. Chang Ung-sung, President of the Office of Strategic R&D Planning, will be delivering his presentation titled Global Cooperation Strategies for K-Industrial Innovation Initiatives. Please welcome him with a big hand.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of Korean delegate, especially MOTIE, today I'm going to introduce the global cooperation strategies to you. My talk today will start from some why we should cooperate as a prologue of my talk, and then move to how and what are we going to cooperate, and I'll conclude my talk. Okay, let me start with some aspect why we should cooperate. As you can see this slide, the Korea and United States both have managed critical and emerging technologies and national strategic technologies for their national security, respectively. For the CET, we can hear more about CET in this session from Dr. Morrow. And the MOTIE goes one step further to foster 11 core investment domains linked with these strategic technologies. So from this kind of similarity, we can expect that we could find the starting point for global cooperation between two countries. The second aspect, what I want to emphasize is complementarity of the two countries in advanced industry. This slide shows the Hamilton Index proposed by ITIF, which is very famous think tank located here in DC. The index was proposed last year to show the competitiveness by country in 10 advanced industry. What I want to emphasize is the overperforming sectors of Korea is equivalent to the underperforming sectors of the United States and vice versa. So this complemental the aspect of two nations means we can maximize the synergy effect if we cooperate in a complementary manner. The last aspect why we should cooperate is consensus. The dialogue between two countries for the next generation key technology was held in December last year, and they have discussed the comprehensive cooperation in the field of semiconductors, batteries, bio, quantum, and clean energy. And also some successful outcomes have emerged from private joint R&D side. That means this kind of consensus have already ripened both in public and private sectors. Okay, I emphasize the similarity, complementarity, and consensus for why we should cooperate. Okay, let me move to how and what are we going to cooperate. Last January, the MOTIE has announced a big change in the policy schemes for industrial and energy R&D. And they are going to invest heavily in high-risk emerging technologies, not easygoing R&D programs at more. And they will reorganize the project structure to maximize market outcome. And also the R&D process will be shifted to demander-centered, not provider-centered. Lastly, training core human resources by R&D will be strengthened. In this token, the MOTIE is going to strengthen the competitiveness of emerging technologies. First of all, to secure global supergap competitiveness, they are going to invest 70% of new budget in 45 projects in 11 core domains, as I mentioned before. And also another 10% new budget will be assigned to next generation industrial core technologies and challenging future technologies, which is more difficult and also need more time to commercialize. And in order to succeed to secure this kind of new emerging technologies, the global R&D program should be promoted, and also the paradigm should be shifted from investment to support systems. So they decided to open all industrial technologies fully to overseas researchers. And also they will collaborate with world-class research institute led by domestic companies. And also, they will support comprehensively from R&D planning and global IP and even commercialization. In more detail, the cooperation with Global Research Institute will be led by domestic companies, and also the research will be focused in domestic weak area. And the R&D program and investment scale will be expanded. My conclusion is this: today we open the cooperation centers. The centers should establish sustainable and complementary networks. Then you can find the similarity between two countries in a complementary manner. And then you can get consensus from the market players. Then your R&D result can be transformed into innovative outcomes. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Chung, for the insightful presentation, introducing how global R&D will be shaping the future through innovative industrial technology. Thank you once again. And next, we will hear from Dr. Chun Yu-Duk, Executive Director of the International Cooperation Center at the Korea Institute for Advancement of Technology, presenting on Korea-U.S. Industrial Technology Cooperation Program. Please welcome up to the stage.
Good day, everyone. Today, I'd like to introduce you to a program funded by KIAT that promotes cooperation in industrial technology between Korea and the US and discuss our future plan. Let me briefly introduce KIAT, the organizer of this forum for 3 consecutive years. Established in 2009, under the Industrial Technology Innovation Promotion Act by the merger of 5 technical institutes, KIAT plays a crucial role in fostering industrial technology innovation, and it has a wide spectrum of roles and responsibility to promote industrial technology innovation, a few of which include technology commercialization, international cooperation, fostering regional industrial development, and more. In 2024, KIAT manages a budget of equivalent to $1.4 billion with $192 million allocated to the International Cooperation Center. KIAT supports international technology cooperation through bilateral and multilateral programs. Bilaterally, we collaborate with 14 countries, including US. And multilaterally, we are a full member and a board member in the Eureka program, which involves 46 countries, primarily European countries. As you may recall from the introductory video, Korea-US industrial technology cooperation has gained momentum since the joint statement marking the 70th anniversary of our alliance, and through initiatives like the supply chain and commercial dialogue in 2022 and 2023. To strengthen this alliance, KIAT organized the first Korea-US Industrial Technology Cooperation Forum in Washington, D.C. in 2022, with the participation from the former Trade Minister An Deok-keun, who now serves as a Minister of Trade, Industry, and Energy. This was followed by our second forum in Seoul in 2023, attended by U.S. Deputy Secretary of Commerce, Don Graves. Their presence here today, the third forum, demonstrates tremendous support, and for that, we extend our gratitude. Following the 2022 forum, KIAT launched 3 joint projects with NIST in 2023 and established Global Industrial Technology Cooperation Center, GITCC, in collaboration with top U.S. research institutions. We are now ready for 48 additional joint R&D projects this year. I would like to provide more details on the GITCC program. The GITCC program is a flagship initiative aiming to advance core technology for the next generation, supporting the 100 new growth engines. Over the next 5 years, we plan to invest $496 million in the Korea-US program and expand the number of centers to 12. The Global Industrial Technology Cooperation Center will function as a central hub for collaboration between Korean and American research institutions. GITCC's responsibility include personal exchange, identifying collaborative opportunities for mutual benefit, coordinating joint research initiatives, and facilitating the sharing of research infrastructure. Partnerships has been established with renowned institutions such as Johns Hopkins, Yale, Purdue, Georgia Tech. Each R&D project will receive up to $1.45 million annually, up to 5 years. Priority areas include semiconductor, batteries, biotechnology, future mobility, robotics, display, and AI. Regarding the timeline, we completed the reception of joint R&D proposal by June 13th. Evaluation will take place in July, and funding decisions by August. In 2025, we will establish two new GITTCs and support 20 additional joint R&D programs. To illustrate, let me highlight the GITCC at Johns Hopkins, focused on pharmaceuticals, medical devices, and digital healthcare. It collaborates closely with Johns Hopkins Technology Ventures, where 100 experts offer IP support, marketing, and access to research facilities for Korean companies like CJ Bioscience and Nexcel. Just like the GITCC at Johns Hopkins, we plan to adopt specialized model at other universities, reflecting their unique strength, and will be operated over the next 5 years. This concludes my presentation for today. I trust that our program will serve as a valuable platform for fostering deeper technology cooperation between Korea and US. Once again, thank you for your attention, and we will look forward to your keen interest and participation. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Chung, for the informative presentation, as we have gained valuable insights into the strategic plans guiding Korea-US cooperation in industrial technology through KIAT. Thank you once again. And now, ladies and gentlemen, let us hear from Dr. Jane Morrow, a senior advisor at the National Institute of Standards and Technology, who will be speaking on a U.S. government national standard strategy for critical and emerging technology. Please welcome her with a big hand.
Hello, good morning. It is such an honor and pleasure to be here with all of you today. and to be able to talk about standards for these technologies. We've all been working very hard to understand how to grow innovation, increase engagement, find opportunities for collaboration, and fostering greater academic participation in new and novel technology ideas. I think the next big challenge that we have on our plate is thinking about how to get those technologies to market. And one of the challenges that NIST, the organization under the Department of Commerce that I represent today, is working to tackle is how to get academics, industry, and government more robustly engaged in standards development from the system that is private sector led here in the United States. So standards touch every part of our lives in ways that we cannot even begin to fully connect with on a day-to-day basis. Those of you who haven't engaged in standards development activities, I think that you'll find that it requires a great deal of skill, both in relationship building, fostering deep technical knowledge, and also understanding how to build consensus and work toward diplomacy and a shared understanding of what we need to do with these technologies and how they will interface with each one of us in our day-to-day activities. The critical role that standards play in innovation is often overlooked when we talk about innovation ecosystems, and it's such an honor to be able to be here with you all today, clearly thought leaders, both in terms of collaboration, economic collaboration and partnership, but also really thinking about the innovation potential of each of our countries. And really talking about how standards can support our activities going forward is something that I'm here today to engage with all of you on, and look forward to hearing your ideas after this presentation as we continue to network and exchange ideas. Standards help reduce R&D costs. They help us understand the creation in terms of the quality and the safety and security of our technology applications, and they lead to interoperability and create markets for new technologies in ways that we haven't even yet to imagine. When we think about the critical role of standards, I wanted to bring to your attention the role that our agency provides in thinking about both opportunities for R&D and innovation, but also how that relates to our standards development activity, as I think it will really resonate with many of you in the room. So at the National Institute of Standards and Technology, we work very closely with industry, with academic research partners, and with other government agencies, both here in the United States and around the world, to foster a greater understanding of how well these technologies work in our own hands and how they could be applied in terms of broader solutions for individual markets and expansion of technology applications. A core capability that we provide is the measurement underpinnings of these technologies. So NIST is also the Metrology Institute for the United States, and we work very closely with metrology institutes all around the world to understand what we can measure and achieve together and how well we can perform in the United States in competition and collaboration with our colleagues around the world. It is a very collaborative and collegial space to really challenge ourselves on what we can achieve. And as metrology institutes, we are often developing novel methods that can generate new standards development activities. At NIST, we work to cultivate trust in technology by really focusing on what we can measure, and then being able to share that with the world through our standards development activities, our research, and our publications. So today I'm going to be largely talking about documentary standards and an effort here in the United States to listen and learn from both industry, government, and academic researchers how standards can benefit our communities of interest in unique ways. And I'll share some of our key findings. What I can tell you is we've learned a lot about the challenges, and I look forward to talking with all of you about some of the solutions. I really appreciated some of the talks this morning already guiding toward new novel ideas of ways that we can continue to work together. I also want to draw your attention to a unique function that we have at NIST. We provide the standards coordination for the US government, but we also provide deep connections and engagement for academic institutions, as well as the US government's engagement. So it's a bringing together industry, academia, and government to solve some of the unique challenges. And the Standards Coordination Office provides much of that service. We also provide the inquiry point for the World Trade Organization's Technical Barriers to Trade Committee, and this is when there is an issue or challenge related to a standard that might underpin a technology's evaluation so that it can enter into the market in the United States. And what this allows, this entry point for communication of any trade-related issues that could become trade barriers. And NIST is very fondly the host of the inquiry point for the United States. In the United States, we have a unique system of standards development, and our system is private sector led. The government is a stakeholder. We are actively engaged as a partner with industry to get standards into the community in a way that can best support new technologies and their emergence. Our system of standardization is largely led by the private sector, and it's overseen or coordinated by the American National Standards Institute. This is not a government agency. This is a nonprofit organization that coordinates the private sector engagement. I want you to connect with ANSI's work, and so we're drawing attention to the United States Standards Strategy, which really provides the foundation for standards development across all technologies. In May of 2023, the United States government released a strategy for greater coordination and support of standards for critical and emerging technologies. This is a much more narrow, focused strategy that looks at how the US government can bolster support for the private sector system in the United States. And it looks at how government agencies' investments, our unique resources, and our unique capabilities can be brought to bear in support of these emerging technology sectors. In the strategy, it identifies some core critical and emerging technology areas that require immediate and guided attention on behalf of the US government so that we can engage and think more strategically about our resource investments to support standards activities in these areas. I also want to say that if the technology that you are fond of or have deep investments in doesn't show up on this list, it doesn't mean that we're not paying attention to it. And the list will continue to evolve and grow every 2 years. The National Science and Technology Council, which is a body of interagency convening under the White House, convenes every 2 years to understand this technology list, grow and evolve and change it with time. So it's intended to be dynamic. And if you have any issues or questions about the list, you're welcome to contact folks at NIST. We do have a voice in developing and evolving that list. What the strategy provided was a foundation of 4 major objectives, looking at increasing investment in research and coordination around standards development, enhancing participation, both from government, but also looking at ways government can bolster support for the private sector. Workforce development, which we've already heard a couple of really unique challenges that we face in growing the next generation of technology leaders. Standards is equally challenged, and we need to work together to understand how to build standards development skills into curricula for these technical leaders. And also ensuring the integrity of the standards development process. And this is a place where we work very closely with like-minded partners and allies around the world to make sure that we're all tracking and working closely together to sustain this critical system that we're all so dependent but benefiting greatly from. Over the last year, since the strategy launched, the US government has been listening in our communities of impact. We published an RFI that was open from September to December of last year. We collected over 785 unique themes of feedback from our colleagues around the world, largely focused in the United States, but we did hear from colleagues in other countries as well. And we looked at hosting listening sessions and stakeholder engagements over this last year. All of this has been very intentionally focused on thinking holistically about the innovation ecosystem. We in the United States recognize that standards development is deeply dependent on a robust technical investments. And it also should be innovative. We should be creative about the standards that we're bringing to the table. It shouldn't be something we develop way down the road, but it should be something we're thinking about when you have a new innovative idea and you're trying to figure out how to get that idea into the market. So changing the story about standards development is something that has come out very prominently in our discussions with colleagues. So I just want to share some of the key findings and also guide your attention and encourage you to submit comments and feedback. We released the roadmap for implementing the US government's approach. This is a draft document. We released it yesterday, and we would really welcome your feedback. I'll share the link to that, access that document in a few moments. Some of the key findings are that we need to work more closely together. We need to cooperate, not just communicate. So we need to come together, cooperate, coordinate our activities, and really think strategically about how we're going to build out the standards for these really rapidly changing and dynamic fields. These fields are not stagnant. Our folks of innovators are meeting, they're present. I love the presentation from our colleague here from LG about the unique ways that that innovative idea comes together, and how can we build standards into those discussions early and often, so people are thinking about how they're going to create that market as they're building their new ideas and envisioning how they will apply. We heard from the private sector that greater coordination between our efforts and really tackling some of these challenges in unique R&D consortia is the place to be. Go where those thought leaders are. Talk about standards and encourage engagement. Remove the barriers so that we can get more people into standards activities early. Developing and promoting the adoption of sector-specific standards is a unique way in which government can apply both our resources, our expertise, and our deep knowledge about the technologies. We also heard that working across the federal government is very important. We need to be sharing not only what we're going to work and develop in standards bodies, but what the intent and objective of that effort is. And working hard to maintain international standard system engagement and really work closely with like-minded partners like our colleagues in Korea so that we can be advocating for this integrity and the inclusivity of our standard system. It has sustained the deep trust and access to technologies for many decades, and we need to work hard together to sustain the system. We also looked at opportunities for funding, not just entrepreneurs, but also academics and small and other medium-sized enterprises, and really enjoy the conversation today to learn more about how we can be effective in doing that. We also heard from deep feedback from industry as well as government that standards professionals are often the first to get laid off when there's a downturn. Standards investments are long-term. These are within the first year of a technology, and then it goes up to a decade. So you have to sustain your investment and think about the return on that investment in creative ways. Standards development sets the stage for our activities, and we have to convey that message in a much more effective way. Standards communication is part of how we can do that. It's not just this document that goes on a shelf, but it creates markets. It opens up economies. Standards for these new technologies give us confidence that the technology works in our hands. Without the standards, there won't be a market. So we've developed a draft roadmap, and we'd like to encourage you all to give us comments and feedback. It'll be open until the 12th of July. The roadmap provides some key recommendations for immediate actions. It looks at ways in which the federal departments and agencies can identify opportunities for collaboration, and we'd like to hear from you as to how we can work more closely and benefit from your experience. So we're here to listen. You can find the roadmap on standards.gov, and I'd encourage you to please give us your feedback. We welcome your contributions, and I look forward to talking with you all while we're here. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Moore, for providing us with valuable insights emphasizing the strategic alignment and collaboration efforts of NIST. Thank you. And now moving on to the next session is the technology cooperation. We'll be hearing from 3 presenters from the Korean institutes on Korea-US R&D cooperation status and its outcomes. Now first, please welcome Dr. Lee Chul-sung, the Chief Researcher from the Korea Electronics Technology Institute, presenting on development of the next generation manufacturing technology semiconductors, one of the joint R&D projects between KIAT and the National Institute of Standards and Technology. Please give a big round of applause.
Hi everyone, nice to meet you. My name is Chul-sung Lee. It's an honor to present our project today here. This project is Korea-US Joint International Development Project supported by KIAT. This presentation contains follows. Due to the time limits, I will explain mainly the necessity for the development. As you know, there is a paradigm shift happening in the recent semiconductor industry. Especially, this shift involves enhancing integration through 3D structures. TSV technology is crucial technology for the achieving high ultra density and performance improvement in semiconductor. TSV creates the conductive pathway that penetrates the silicon wafers, enabling the vertical connection between chips. Compared to the traditional 2D packaging method, this significantly shortens signal transmission distance and reduce power consumption and greatly improve the data transfer speed. Next is a technology called the interposer. The interposer acts as a bridge between silicon chip and the substrate. Silicon is predominantly used for this purpose. As you can see from the highlighted area, red area, the interposer technology is included. Samsung, South Korea's leading semiconductor company, has announced the intensive investment in this development of the advanced packaging technologies. Intel is also aggressively developing and investing in this field. The next technology is TGV, through silicon via. This concept is derived from TSV. Essentially, it replaced silicon with glass as the materials. Based on these technologies, glass interposers are being developed. Due to its numerous advantages over traditional silicon, it is being recognized as next generation technology. The glass interposer market is experiencing rapid growth as shown. Additionally, due to the advantage of this technology, Intel is making focused development and investment. Regarding this development of the TGV interposer mentioned earlier, this project has been proposed as an international collaborative effort to address the key issue in this field. The joint research with Dr. Mopat's team at NIST. They are the leading group of the experts in the copper electroplating technologies. The core development issue in TGV interposer developments are as follows. The key technologies are glass via formation and copper via filling and TGV polishing. The following is a summary of our strategy for the key issue in this project. From now, I will briefly show the development content of each institution. First, Professor Yu Bong-young's team at Hanyang University will develop that. Second, Professor Chua Yong-ho's team at Hanyang University will develop that. The issue with the PR peeling, the technology, will be addressed by Professor Im Jae-hong at Gachon University. The following are the areas study in the collaboration with NIST. The KIAT is the conducting research and development with the nanotechnology based with polishing slurry. This is about Hojin Plastic companies that aim to commercialize our technology development. ACE NanoChem, they aim to commercialize CMP slurry in this technology development. I summarized our consortium in this slide. We plan to support research and development with NIST. Finally, the expected effect of success in our project are summarized. Based on this project technology, it will be applied to the next generation market, such as display and sensor and medical field. Through the successful joint research and development, we will do our best to ensure that Korea and the US can achieve a win-win situation in the next generation market. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Lee, for the thought-provoking presentation highlighting the strategic partnership between KIAT and NIST in advancing technology development. Thank you very much. And next, Dr. Park Chung-bom, the principal researcher from the Korea Electronics Technology Institute, will be speaking on intelligent robotics. Please welcome him with a big hand.
Hello, everyone. I'm Jong-bong Park, a principal researcher at Korean Electronics Technology Institute. Today, I'll talk about the collaborative research project between NIST and KIAT on intelligent robotics. Our project theme is developing test method and artifacts to support performance of dexterous manipulation and grasping for manufacturing robotics. The project has three main parts. First, work package A is about developing robot hand-based gripping efficiency performance evaluation. We will improve the draft from the list by adding the latest grasping technologies. Second, work package B focuses on evaluating force control in robotics. NIST, a university, and a sensor company in Korea will work together to research and develop force and torque sensor solutions for commercialization. Third, work package C is about developing autonomous manipulation and grasping algorithm performance evaluation based on demonstration. With the recent AI advances, we will study how to evaluate robot control performance based on learning from human or robot behavior. In this project, KIAT will take the lead alongside KIAT and NIST, managing work packages A and C. Cheongyungan University and AD Robotics will research robot force control algorithms and develop commercial solutions. The Korean Association of Robot Industry will establish domestic group standards for the project. Thank you for your attention.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Park, for the presentation underscoring the role in driving future technological advancements in robotics. Thank you. And next, please welcome Professor Yang Chi-ung from the Daegu Gyeongbuk Institute of Science and Technology speaking on M30-based SWIR CMOS image sensors with environmentally benign hybrid semiconductor materials. Please welcome him with a big hand.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am Professor Jung Yang from Daegu Gyeongbuk Institute of Science and Technology, DGIST. Today, I am very honored to be here at this prestigious forum. Our research team is working on a Korea-US collaboration project titled M30-based SWIR CMOS image sensors with environmentally benign hybrid semiconductor material.
So my research focused on the synthesis and application of the quantum dots. Quantum dots are quantum confined semiconductor nanocrystal. An interesting feature of the quantum dot is that their optical properties are tunable according to their size. In addition, quantum dot exhibit very excellent optical property. This makes quantum dot promising for next generation semiconductor material for light-related applications such as display and image sensor. So, for instance, in Korea, Samsung is now leading the commercialization of the quantum dot-based display. Our group is also advancing next generation display and image sensor based on quantum dot. In this project, we are developing short-wave infrared image sensor using quantum dot technology. An image sensor acts like an eye for machine. For example, modern smartphones have at least 4 to 6 image sensors. Traditional image sensor capture visible light. By using SWR light, we can image objects that are not visible to human eyes. So we can see clearly at night or in bad weather conditions. So SWR image sensors were initially used for military application, and their use is now expanding into the area like machine vision, radar, and bioimaging, and so on. However, previous SWIR image sensor technology is very, very expensive because of material and process costs for the conventional SWIR semiconductor material. To address this issue, in this project, our aim is to develop SWR image sensor using quantum dot technology. Specifically, we are developing hybrid semiconductor material composed of the heavy metal-free quantum dot and organic semiconductor. We expect synergetic combination between the superior optical property of the quantum dots and excellent electrical property of the organic semiconductor material. This collaborative project involves several Korean institutes, including DIGIST, Hanyang University, POSTECH, UNIST, and BWOS, to develop the material and device technology for SWR image sensor. Our US partner, including NIST and LVNL, will characterize and evaluate optical and structural property of the developed material and devices. Here are our action plan. I envision that through this great collaboration, our team will develop practical and cost-effective SWR image sensor. Once again, I would like to express my gratitude for this wonderful opportunity for this international collaboration. Thank you for listening to my presentation. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Professor Yang, for unveiling the groundbreaking advancements of quantum dot technologies. Thank you very much. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the last session of this morning is the cooperation session. For this session, Professor Martin Jeonbyung-guk from Purdue University will be speaking on plans for the U.S. Global Industrial Technology Cooperation Center. Please welcome Professor Jeon with a big hand.
Thank you very much. My name is Martin Jeon. I'm a professor in mechanical engineering at Purdue University. I am very honored and excited to be here. And I'm also very excited so that Purdue is designated as one of the GITCC in the United States. And I'd like to thank the opportunity to be able to introduce Purdue and the newly established Center of Operation and Research for Industrial Advancement. So Purdue is a university that is excellent at scale. So we have more than 52,000 students, and we have many departments and schools of engineering and other institutions that are ranked very high in the United States. And we have been graduating more engineers than any other schools in the United States. And we're also going up in rankings in many other metrics as well. So Purdue has recently established a Center of Operation and Research for Industry Advancement, in short, Korea. And we are focusing on emerging and advanced technology capabilities in three technology areas: semiconductor, smart batteries, and future mobility. Battery and semiconductor are both strong points of Korea. But in order to be, we're here to support Korean companies to be global leaders, to support the areas that are still needed in terms of research, and also to be integrated more effectively into future mobility. We are developing research projects in those three areas. And there are many different centers in these three thrust areas, which is listed on the screen. And many of the directors of these centers are also supporting our effort to support the global cooperation. And our Korea Center organization is that we have an executive committee to support the operation of the global collaboration. Also the steering committee to come up with the research projects and also the guide research directions for the future research projects. And we have scientific committee members to meet and discuss to create innovative ideas for research projects. So the executive committee members are 5 of us who have heritage in Korea. We will support many different aspects of operation, including commercialization, administration, management, education, and networking. And we also have steering committee members who are in 3 different thrust areas who will support the directions of research projects. And we have scientific committee members who will discuss and come up with innovative ideas and discuss with Korean companies to come up with research projects. And the list is not limited here. We have many researchers at Purdue who wishes to participate in this effort, and we will connect Korean companies to many different faculty members at Purdue. And we have, this is an outline of what we plan to do as one of the GITCC. We will have symposiums, we'll have joint events with KIAT and many research institutions in Korea. And also we will conduct feasibility studies for areas that need feasibility studies to determine whether it's a feasible research project and so on. And this effort, Korea Activities, is highly supported by the state of Indiana as well too. State of Indiana wishes to have more Korean companies established in the state of Indiana. So if you know any companies who are interested, also please let us know. And the Korea Center is also very supported by Purdue University as well. So for this current year's call for proposal by KIAT, Purdue has prepared 27 proposals for 2024 submissions. We had 11 proposals in battery areas, 10 proposals in future mobility, and 3 proposals in semiconductors, as well as 3 proposals in other areas. We are already on the discussion to prepare for 2025 research proposals as well. And we have activities. I have visited a number of different research institutions to discuss collaboration. We will next Tuesday, we will have MOU signing with KIAT on July 2nd, and our Chief Semiconductor Officer, Mark Lundstrom, will be visiting Korea for that. We'll have joint workshop. We had joint workshop prior to coming to this forum with KIAT on Tuesday. And also we will have joint workshop with KAIST next week on July 1st. And we will have number of MOU or LOI signing planned with different institutions in August and September. I'm very honored to be able to work on research projects and support Korean companies to be global leaders. And I thank you for your attention. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Professor Chung, for the presentation informing us with the upcoming efforts of Korea to boost global technological cooperation. Thank you once again. And now, ladies and gentlemen, this comes to the end of the morning session of the 2024 Korea-U.S. Advanced Industry and Technology Cooperation Forum. I would like to thank each and every one of you for your cooperation and support, and especially our speakers for sharing your excellent knowledge and in-depth information with us. Thank you very much. And now it is time to take a break and enjoy the networking luncheon. We have provided a delightful buffet outside of the lobby, so please do enjoy. And we hope you'll take this opportunity to network and engage in conversations. Now, before we adjourn for lunch, there's a quick heads up in the afternoon session. The technology cooperation session will begin at 1:30 p.m. in the adjoining rooms at this ballroom level. And the session will be jointly hosted by the Global Industrial Technology Cooperation Center and the National Collaboration Centers. We encourage you to attend the sessions and enjoy the vast horizons of the cutting-edge industrial technologies. I wish you a pleasant and productive afternoon. Thank you very much.